Hello and good afternoon, beautiful people. Welcome back to Spill the Tea Lou. I hope you are all good and I hope you're enjoying yourself. You had a good night's sleep. And of course, most importantly, I hope none of you are working too hard. No working too hard. Guys, obviously, we're going to be talking about a little bit of the fallout from last night. We did our live match reaction after the match, but the fallout has continued. We're also going to be talking a little bit about Xavi Hernandez. Oh, excuse me. Xavi Hernandez, that was mentioned yesterday. I think JT mentioned that yesterday, and I said I would speak about it today. I want to talk about Federico Chiesa and a little bit of talk about Man United just at the back end of the show. Not a huge amount, but there's been a lot of fallout, an awful lot of fallout since last night for us to get our teeth into. There's loads of tea all over the place, but first, I want to say hello to the lovely teacuppers. A shout out to Rob, who is straight in there with a massive super chat. Thank you very much to Rob Always United. And he says, I think the talk of PSG or Bayern easily beating Arsenal is silly. Whoever they play, it'll be a very close fought game, in my opinion. I think when you get to the final of a competition like the Champions League, I think it would be very rare or like unusual to say that there'd be an easy win because both teams have got there because they're very good. It's not normally like you don't get to the Champions League final by being a bad team. So I agree with you in part. I think the thought of them being beaten easily is silly. However, I do think they very much go in as the underdogs. I do think they very much go in not expected to win. I do think, based on a lot of what I've seen, a lot of the reaction from Arsenal fans and rival fans, most people do seem to feel that Bayern Munich gives them a better chance of winning than PSG. And actually, Mika Richards asked Bukayo Saka about this last night in the after-match sort of interview thing. And he said, who would you rather face? And Bukayo Saka says, well, I can't really answer that. Like, I'm going to have to give you a media-trained answer, but deep down who we'd rather face. And I think everyone has surmised that would be Bayern Munich. So I agree. I do. I think easily beating is silly because it's a Champions League final. You don't get there by accident. You don't get there by not being a good team. You don't get there by not being well equipped. So I think it will be a close fought game. I think it'll be a hard game regardless. But I do think that they're the underdogs, if that makes sense. But let me say hello to all the other lovely teacuppers. Rob was just in so early there, and I wanted to make sure that we looked at it straight away because I'm really grateful for when you guys send in the super chats and the super stickers and stuff. So I want to make sure that I make like a big deal out of it when you guys do, because it's very generous and it does make a big difference for me. Shem is in the house. Shem is saying, good morning, lovely boss lady Lou, and all the wonderful teacuppers. Hope everyone is well, and the Gooners are still basking in the Champions League glow. The celebration police are out in force this morning. I have to be honest, I haven't seen any of the celebration police. However, that might be because I just avoid them like the plague. I have no time for it whatsoever. Your team is doing something really good. Go and enjoy it. That's it. That is it, right? See, when it's bad, you criticize. When it's bad, you're sad. When it's bad, we talk about all the negatives. When it's good and you win, go and enjoy it. Go and enjoy it. Never mind what anyone else thinks. So you're right. The celebration police can get in the bin. Before he sent in his super chat, Rob did say hello to everybody and all the lovely teacups. Gaz is in the house. Gaz United, welcome. Lovely Patrick Lynch is in the house saying, I don't mind Arsenal fans celebrating. I more dislike how they've painted it like no one has achieved this ever before. There is a bit of an undercurrent of that. Now, I do think it's not all of the Arsenal fans, but this one I have seen. I have seen this undercurrent on X of, I saw a reasonably big profile. This had to be before the first leg of the semi-final, putting out there, has anyone ever won the Champions League unbeaten before? And obviously people are like, yeah. So yeah, I think that little undertone probably isn't helping, but I would hazard a guess that maybe it's a small minority rather than a vast majority. And do you know what I think? I think sometimes it depends what form of social media you're on. I find X brings out the worst in people, and that's normally where you see all these little narratives and undercurrents. So yeah, Other people have done it, but certainly go out there and celebrate 100%. Rob is making use of all of his membership stickers. Lucky is in the house. Nice to see our lovely Looker, our lovely Lucky. Patrick is also saying Arsenal will be much better defensively organised. I think PSG have a better chance of beating them because they carry more of a threat. Also because they're just more erratic, therefore harder to predict, therefore harder to sort of prepare for. I think that factors into it as well. Unpredictability, it can be a great weapon because you can't plan for something, you don't know what's coming. Let me see. Okay, what else have we got? There's a good old chat going on there. Very interesting points on both sides. Shem is saying, like I've said since the second half of this season, the only team that can beat this Arsenal is Arsenal themselves. Time for them to show the mental strength to get over the line. I believe that's true in the Premier League. In the Champions League, they're going to be facing serious quality. Has it? Because obviously I'm in the background, so I can't see it. I was on someone's channel the other day. It might have been Don Hassam's, and the chat box was really massive. It was like super stretch. It was very irritating. But YouTube need to just stop experimenting. They just need to stop experimenting and leave things alone. There's our lovely Luke is in the house as well. Damien is here. Sup? JT is in the house. Lucky is reminding us all of the most important thing: Ineos and the Glazers out 100%. JT reckoned that Saka meant PSG. Oh, did ya? I just assumed he meant Bayern. But I suppose that's the point of it, as he didn't say. So you're sort of surmising. But yeah. Let me see. What else have we got? JT says the classic celebration police are out, but there is a lot less than usual. Some of the usual suspects are now giving credit. Well, they're at a point where they can't really ignore it anymore. Hello and good morning to Tom, who has joined us. Mohammed is in the house as well. Everybody's saying hi, hi, hi. And Lucky is saying that it was a great battle yesterday. It was, it wasn't exciting. It wasn't exciting in the way that I normally enjoy, but I thought it was a good game. It was a good game in the end. I thought the second half was better. The first half I found difficult. The second half was better. However, we're not talking about the match anymore. We're talking about the aftermath, because yesterday we talked about the match. We got into it in depth. We spent over an hour talking about it. So there's no point in kind of rehashing it, because you'll all be bored to death listening to me saying the same things over and over again. However, it didn't end at the end. It kept going. JT, on ESPN, they were talking about how much they want to punch Arteta. I'm a little bit taken aback by that. I mean, even if it's said in jest, that's highly inappropriate. Highly inappropriate. Regardless of who the manager is, that's highly inappropriate. I'm actually just sorry. That's actually taken me aback a little bit. I didn't hear that. That's a little bit crazy. Yes, that's just entirely unprofessional. You can't say that you want to punch someone on the TV. Alrighty. ESPN are having a bit of a week of it, aren't they? Between ESPN Brazil just making stuff up about Cunha. Now they want to punch Arteta. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. To be fair, there was a few people that wanted to punch each other at the end of the match yesterday. Obviously, towards the end of the match, it got a little bit fractious. It got a little bit, you could feel it bubbling up. You could feel the tension. You could feel it all starting to boil over. Obviously, right at the very end, there was sort of the melee of stealing the ball and running away with it and the whole lot. And look, tensions were a little bit high. But so this happened after the match. After the match, while Arsenal are celebrating, this happened. And I just want to show you guys this, because I didn't watch any of this. I've seen it back today. Yeah, I genuinely find that crazy. I really do. I find that completely crazy. Lucky is saying there that ESPN need banning. That's crazy. Yeah, but there was a bit of a crazy ending to the match there. As Mohammed is saying, there was a crazy ending to the game. But this is during the celebration, obviously, because even though this isn't the match is over, but it's technically still part of the broadcast. So I actually still can't play it because they'll copyright me. But as you can see here, Mark Pubel disrupting the Arsenal celebrations to approach Victor Gyökeres. Gabriel Jesus, he does hit him in the face. He doesn't appear to hit him in the face. He hits him in the face, okay? So here he is approaching now. They've all been celebrating and he's come from the right side of the picture walking towards them, okay? I'm going to bring it forward just a little. As I said, I can't play it, so I'm going to try and get it to the right spot for you guys. So you see him coming. Now, there he is. Oh, get out of the way. There he is going to Gyökeres. So you see the left hand at Gyökeres. Dude, get your hand off the camera. And then right now, watch this. Now, watch. This here in the middle, that's Gabriel Jesus. Now, he doesn't appear to hit him. He hits him. So this happened at the end of the match. Now, it wasn't the only thing. There's a few other things that happened at the end of the match that we're going to talk about. But what I would just say, and the reason I thought that this was important is because yesterday before the match, we spoke about the fact that UEFA are discussing disciplinary action against Declan Rice because of his comments after the match. The first leg about the referee being influenced by the fans and the players. And I just thought to myself, I understand Pubel approach them, but you can't hit him in the face. You can't hit him in the face. Don't do that. That's stupid because you've already got a player that might face disciplinary action. You are now in the final. Don't do a stupid thing because you're going to need all of your players, all of the players in the final. Don't do the thing because if they look at that violent conduct, he has hit him in the face in this video. You're getting yourself in trouble. He instigated it. He approached it. Like, push him away. Do the sort of, back off sort of a thing. Don't hit him in the face. Don't hit him in the face. Why are you hitting him in the face? And it's not because it's Arsenal. See, if that's my player, I'm losing my goddamn mind. If that's my player doing that, I'm losing my mind. These people might get themselves banned from the final for things that aren't happening inside the match. It was a silly thing to do. It was really, really, really silly thing to do, especially when Declan Rice, it's already come out that he might face disciplinary action. They don't need to be missing players going into the final against either PSG or Bayern. JT or Mohammed there is saying that's a one match ban. What stuff are we making up? Shem, where did that come from? Who's making stuff up? I've clearly missed the context there. So you let me know, what are we making up? Because I've definitely missed something completely. But Damien is saying someone was lightly punching his coaching staff when Simeone. I was like, there's only two coaches. Be more specific. Simeone was lightly punching his coaching staff when he got frustrated. I mean, that's not normal either. JT says, don't know the context, but disciplinary action is justified. I honestly welcome Jesus getting a ban for the final. It might do us better. JT's basically said, you might be better off if Jesus wasn't a Phil. At least Arteta can't pick him if he's banned. I mean, fair. But yeah, I agree very much with Damien. Damien says, Arsenal are in the end game now. Their players need to be careful. And that's the thing. It's not a criticism of Arsenal. It's not a criticism. What are your players doing? You're this close. You are this close. Don't do stupid things. Stop opening your mouth and saying stuff. Don't hit other players. It looked like a slap. I wouldn't call it a punch. It looked like a slap. But I mean, don't hit other players in the face. Even when they start it, like Puma would have got in trouble for starting it. Like, push him off a bit. Don't hit him in the face. Don't hit him in the face. I just thought, have your wits about you. They're out, so they don't care. They're not in. The only person that can not benefit from this is you. That's the only thing. Shem is saying, have to say though, why were all the Arsenal subs allowed to stand on the sideline, disrupting the play for the last 20 minutes of the game, pushing Madrid players, throwing and kicking the ball away, etc.? I agree. I think it should have been stopped. I think it should have been dealt with. I think it was poor. And I think that is what led to all of this. So I completely agree. I'm not saying, Arsenal were fully in the right. That should have been stopped. They shouldn't have been allowed to do that. Their own coaching staff, Arteta should have been telling them to stop. It's a bad look. It's not good. It's not a good look. They shouldn't have been allowed to do it. It did disrupt the match. There was time wasting. I would say about 30 seconds of the extra time was actually played. And throwing the ball away is supposed to be an offence. So if you're doing it, whether you're a sub or unused or on the bench or whatever, you should be getting a card. You shouldn't be allowed to do it. I completely 100% agree. Absolutely, they should not have been doing it. And there might still be repercussions for that we don't know about yet. But you still can't hit someone in the face. You still can't hit someone in the face. So no, I 100% agree. Like Mama Flossie there is saying to Shem, it should have been stopped, and it should have. It 100% should have been stopped, because that's why it escalated. It got out of hand because it wasn't dealt with in the first place. You end up with an incident like this between Pupil and Gabriel Jesus because it wasn't stopped. That is a lack of control shown by the match officials. That is an inability to referee the match, to keep control of the situation, which is what they're there for. And because they didn't keep control of the situation, it escalated. And as we know, this wasn't the only escalation, because Simeone and Berta were on the sideline almost throwing punches at each other. I thought they were going to have a good dust up as well. But the reason it got to that point where there was sort of that level of chaos was because it had been let to run for quite some time unaddressed by the match officials. And I agree. I completely agree with Shem. It should have been stopped. It shouldn't have been happening. It's wrong. They shouldn't be behaving that way. And if the match officials aren't going to do it, and Arteta and his coaching staff should have got a hold of his players and said, sit the hell back down. You're making this worse. You're building it up, and we can't afford to lose the head. So I agree 100%. What else? Paul is in the house. Hello to Paul. I hope you're well. Nice to see you in the chat. Rob can't see Shem. Oh, he's wearing an invisibility cloak. Although he still hasn't told me what was being made up. I want to know now. Shem told us something was being made up, and I didn't. I can't see it in the chat. I feel out of the loop. I missed some of the tea. But I don't know why you can't see him, Rob. Oh, he can see it now. He saw that one, Shem. That's all right. Yeah, switch it off and on again. That's what I do. It's probably just YouTube being stupid, because I know Rob normally does have it set to live chat. It's probably just YouTube being YouTube. However, what I thought was also fun, more fallout. So after Simeone and Berta nearly had a bit of a dust off there on the sideline, we did have this. So does everyone remember the whole melee about not walking on the Atletico Madrid badge, even though it's on the ground and it's very disrespectful and blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah? Everybody remembers that whole drama. Yes, well, Simeone yesterday was rather annoyed after the whole debacle. He was so annoyed that he was actually walking down the side of the badge and deterred. He changed. There's a video of this which I've looked at, and he's walking straight along here. He wouldn't have stepped on the badge, and he sees the badge, changes direction, and purposely walks across the top of it. And it was the pettiest thing I've ever seen in my life. And that's why I'm laughing, because I'm quite a petty person. I'm a bit petty. That's the kind of thing I would do, but I'm not a professional football manager. And it just made me laugh a little bit, because how to know you've gotten under someone's skin? Well, I would say this is a perfect example. And I agree, Tom. I do agree. I think it's woke nonsense. I think if it's on the ground, step on it. I completely agree. I don't think you should have to avoid the badge. Absolutely not. However, when they made such a big deal about how disrespectful it was for Arsenal to walk across the Atleti badge, for him to then purposely change direction to walk across the Arsenal badge, it did give me a giggle. It did give me a giggle because it wasn't about, oh, we shouldn't step on the badge. It was about, he was so dramatic. He was so dramatic about the Atleti badge and then genuinely like changed direction to walk across it. It gave me a giggle. It did give me a giggle. Yeah, so Damien is saying Petty Simeone. Flossie's agreeing with me. She would do it too. Flossie would have a dance on it. Paul would have been stamping on it. Cleo's having a good laugh. Pettione, says Gaz. Pettione. Yeah, to be fair, like that. I'm not like giving out about it because I almost definitely would have done the same. I probably would have had a little stomp. I probably would have been like Paul. I probably would have had a little bit of a stomp across it just to make myself feel better. But I did find it highly amusing. I thought it was very interesting that they were so dramatic. And then you see the moment, if you watch the video, obviously you can't play it, but if you watch the video, he literally just type it into X, Simeone walks on Arsenal badge, it'll come up, right? And he's walking straight, and then he literally goes, it's very funny. Very, very, very funny. But you know what? I bet he felt a little bit better after. Sometimes it's okay to be petty in life. Sometimes it's okay to like feel your feelings, okay? We don't have to be happy all the time. We don't have to be positive all the time. Sometimes it's okay to just feel your feelings, and Simeone was feeling the feelings. JT says, that's a true football fan. Hypocrite through and through. Do you know what, JT? I completely agree. If anybody remembers, anybody saw my very first video on this channel, the first thing I said, I was like, hello, welcome to Spill the Tea, Lou. My name is Lou. I'm a Manchester United fan and I'm going to be a hypocrite because I'm just a fan. That was my introduction to the channel, was I'm going to be a hypocrite. What's okay for my club is not okay for your club. And don't ever forget it. Gaz said, I'm surprised he didn't wipe his feet on it. Damien, man, hates stepping out of that dugout. Love it, love it. But you know what? Do you want to know? It gets better. He was not the only one feeling a little bit petty last night. He was not the only one. It wasn't just the Atleti fans that were a little bit disappointed that Arsenal won and that Arsenal are through to the final. It seems that Erling Haaland was also feeling a little bit petty. Erling Haaland was also feeling a little bit displeased that that Arsenal got through. And so he had a little post. He had a little post of himself, so he did. This is Erling Haaland's, I believe, oh, this is his Snapchat. Okay, now I found it on X. I don't have Erling on Snapchat, but it was shared on X. So this is it. I'm going to put it up now. Shout out to After B Gaming for joining us. Nice to see you in the chat. Yes, Lucas saying Ben White probably had a good chuckle about it. I'm sure he did. If I'm finding it amusing, I bet Ben White had a good laugh about it. But guys, this was Erling Haaland on Snapchat. So this was obviously the one we were talking about last night, where Calafiori stands on Griezmann. The penalty wasn't awarded because the whistle had already blown, and so therefore the foul had been given for what happened previous, and therefore they couldn't give the penalty because play had stopped at this point. But Erling Haaland was clearly displeased by this and says, no penalty for this. And one of the little eyebrow raised emojis. So he was feeling a bit Simeone last night, was Erling Haaland. And I did think it was a little bit funny because City like to go out of their way to go under people's skin. City like to go out of their way to go under people's skin. They like to wind people up. They like to annoy people. Erling Haaland is a professional rage baiter. He's like a rage baiter in real life. He loves it. He loves it. You see him on the pitch. He's like an in-person rage baiter, and you can see him. He thoroughly enjoys what he's doing. He has so much fun with it all the time in person. I would say this was slightly tongue-in-cheek. I would say this was probably a little bit, he knew he was going to start a conversation about it. He knew he was going to start a bit of a debate about it. This is him purposely setting the cash amongst the pigeons. I would imagine he was laughing when he posted this because he knows, like this, it's going to blow up. People are going to share it. It's going to start a conversation about it. And then it's like fight to death in the comments. So I thought it was funny to share, because obviously if I'm sharing a bit of Simeone raging, I thought it would be fun to share a bit of Erling Haaland's rage bait, because that's what this is. That's all this was. He was having a bit of fun with it. And yeah, so after B Gaming says he always rage baits Arsenal, even in his YouTube channel as well. He loves the rage bait. He loves the rage bait. He really does. He is if rage bait was a person, it's Erling Haaland. He loves it. You see him on the pitch, like he loves it. To be fair though, after B Gaming, I wouldn't expect him to like Arsenal. Like, he plays for City, who are your main title, are Arsenal's main title rivals. So I wouldn't expect him to like you guys. I would expect him to hate you guys. Like, I would expect Arsenal players to hate City. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's a big thing. I just think it's his personality. I think he's that way in real life, if I'm honest. Yeah. So like Damien says, Haaland not taking his stay humble to heart. No, I don't think he's about that life. Erling Haaland is not about that stay humble life. It's not his style. Not his style. Damien says, Haaland v Gabriel, 1v1 boxing match for charity, make it happen. Haaland would smoke him. Flossie says he's like his dad. Shem says he didn't need to, because all the Spanish papers are talking about is the terrible referee not giving them a penalty for that. So the Spanish media had it covered. He didn't need to get involved. But as After B Gaming says, he is the king of rage bait. He is rage bait personified. Gaz United is saying Haaland likes bantering. That's for sure. Yes, he does. He loves a bit of the banter. Do you know what? Other than the fact he's... Right, Cunha, I find he's not like Haaland. But Cunha's a little bit rage baity. Cunha's one of those players, if he wasn't on my team, I would hate him. He's one of those players, you probably... Don't tell ESPN that we condone this behaviour, but if he wasn't my player, he's probably the kind of player you want to punch, because he is a bit irritating. He does get a bit under your skin. He likes to wind people up a bit. Now, I love that because he's my player, but I'm sure it winds everyone else up. Like, I would not blame a single rival fan for not liking Matheus Cunha, because he's definitely the type of player that gets under rival skin. Erling Haaland's a bit like that, and he enjoys it. He thinks it's funny. Like, when Mount was getting booed by the Chelsea fans, Matheus Cunha was breaking his backside laughing. He thought it was the funniest thing that ever happened. Some people are just like that. Some of us take life very seriously, whether we mean to or not, and then some people just treat life like it's all a joke. It's all a joke. And you know what? They're probably enjoying things a bit more than the people that take it seriously. So I can't criticize him for it. I really dislike it. It's very annoying, but it's also a bit funny. Rob is saying, I have heard that Haaland is a nice guy though. He seems it. He seems a nice guy. But there was one person after the match that hadn't lost his mind. There was a person at the end of the whole debacle that didn't actually lose his mind. Koke. So Koke was asked after the match, and obviously they were trying to bait him. And this is the thing, right? So let's go back to Declan Rice's comments about the referee and whether it was advisable or not advisable. Fair enough. We've decided that was a bit silly thing to do. However, the problem is the interviewers are asking them about the referees. And so unless they say, I'm not answering that question, they're getting asked about it. And they're answering the questions, and then they're getting in trouble for their answers. So as I said about the Declan Rice thing, because it's happened so much this season, we might just get to the point where players say, well, I'm not answering any of these questions because every time I answer these questions, I'm getting in trouble because I'm saying things about the referees. Therefore, I'm just not going to do the interview. I'm going to be there for the interview, but I'm not going to answer your questions because you keep asking me about the referees and I can't answer the question. So Koke last night was asked about the referee. Obviously, if this was a different player in the heat of the moment when it had just happened, the match was just over, that whole melee had just happened, people are throwing punches and slaps. It's easy to get caught up in the moment. Somebody asks you a question and you just say it. Koke, to be fair to him, didn't, but I'm just saying, if it's another player that maybe doesn't have the presence of mind, they answer the question and they get themselves in trouble. So it is, I want to give both sides to it, to be fair. But Koke was asked about the referee, and his response was, and I really rate this response, which is why I'm talking about it. He said, I won't talk about the referee. He did the best he could We shouldn't talk about him. He knows how he officiated. He tried to do it in the best possible way. There's nothing to say. There's nothing to blame anyone for. The team went for the match and it just wasn't meant to be. And I have to say, I really, really, really rate that, because he would have been well within his rights to say, I think we were hard done by on some of the decisions, etc. And as I said, another player maybe just comes out in the heat of the moment and says, God knows what, a la Declan Rice, a la some of the other players we've had this season. And I think it's unfair because they're repeatedly pushing this situation to get themselves into trouble. The interviewers are like, they're not coming to the camera and just randomly saying these things. The interviewers are asking them the questions, knowing the answers can get them in trouble. So I think, at some point, the players are going to do what Koke has said. I'm not talking about it. He literally said, I won't talk about the referee. He did the best he could. I mean, I thought it was a very good answer. I liked it. I thought it was a good answer. I was impressed by it. But I do think it's going to get to a point where players just refuse to answer the question because they're going to get in trouble. Still Bad Dad is in the house. Welcome to Still Bad Dad. I'm a bit late, but I have a letter from my mum. Yes. Davian says, Koke is professional personified. Well, that answer would indicate that 100%. After B Gaming says, do you guys think Arsenal deserve this? Because I think Arsenal deserve this UCL trophy. I think the person who wins it is the person who deserves it. The team that wins it are the team that deserves it. I don't think anyone deserves anything unless they've gone out and won it. So whoever wins the final is the team that deserves it. If that's Arsenal, then it's Arsenal. But you have to go and win it on the pitch. JT says, Simeone, to be fair to him, didn't crash out as well. Hid a little dig about the ref, but was fair at the end of the day. Yes, in his after-match comments, do you know where they sit at the table and they talk to the journalists? He was the post-match press conference, I believe they call that. But yeah, he was pretty rational by then. But before that, the punches a little less rational. But yes, by the time he was speaking to the journalists, he was a bit calmer and he was overall fair. JT says, just ban the journalists from asking the questions if you don't want to give the answers. The thing is, I don't know if they're able to. I don't know who would be in charge of setting those rules, but maybe the competition. So for example, in this scenario, maybe UEFA can say to the journalists, well, okay, if you want access, you're not allowed to keep asking about the referees. The problem is, if they say that, it looks like a dictatorship. Imagine the headlines if UEFA, for example, come out and said, journalists aren't allowed to ask about the referees. It doesn't look good. Do you know, it looks worse than letting them ask. So I see why maybe they don't feel like they can. That would be a bad look. You would understand the logic of it, but it would be a bad look. So I don't know if they could. I don't know if you can just ban the journalists from asking about the referees, because then it looks like you're protecting them even if they've done something wrong. So I understand your point, but I think it might open a different can of worms, if that makes sense. Mohammed, yes, no one has a God-given right to win a trophy until you win it. I agree. Paul is saying, Kane to break Arsenal hearts in the final. Oh, I would love it. Paul's loving it. What else have we got? Right, let us take a look. So that was basically the fallout from last night. So I wanted to just go through that because so much came out, so much had happened. We don't know. I've no idea if anything will come from that with Pupil and Jesus. We don't know if anything's going to happen with Declan Rice, but I just wanted to mention it so if it does happen, we're aware of it. Shout out to Cleo girl. Oh, thank you so much. Absolutely. Big up to Cleo. Love the community you're building here and a little love heart. Very generous. Thank you very much, Cleo. And we are so happy that you're a part of it. So thank you very much for being here. And JT and Jamie are right. Big up and W's for Cleo girl. Absolutely so appreciated. Thank you very, very, very much. And I see here, yes, lovely comment. Everyone's saying, love having you here. All the lovely answers to Cleo Girl. Absolutely shout out. We're so pleased that you're here, Cleo. So thank you very much for being a part of it, for being a part of the Teacup Castle community. We love it. We love it. We'll leave that up there a little bit. Give Cleo her flowers. So thank you very much. Lucky is, oh, Moonshine's in the house. Moonshine, hello. Mohammed is saying, if it's PSG Arsenal, I want PSG to win. But if it's Bayern Arsenal, I want Arsenal to win because Bayern will have more Champions Leagues if they win. That's fair. That's very fair reasoning. And yes, Shem, Cleo Girl is one of us. One of us. She's stuck with us now. There's no getting away from us. Once you're in, you're stuck. So it's good you're enjoying it. Yeah, JT, I agree. That's fair. That's respectful. It's very good reasoning. It's vibes, but it's reasoning as well. As you know, I don't want Arsenal to win it because I have them to win the Premier League and I don't want them to win both. Therefore, I have to count them out of the Champions League. You know, vibes, but reasons. However, JT, it was you yesterday that did mention about Xavi Hernandez, was it? Was it you that said that? Somebody put it in for me yesterday about Xavi Hernandez. And I remember I said I had read it. So I found it. It was Ben Jacobs that put it out. And I just wanted to mention it again because I kind of glossed over it yesterday because we were talking about something else. So I said I'd bring it in today. I knew we'd have a bit of time at the end. JT, it was you. Thank you. So Ben Jacobs, that was the report. It was from Ben Jacobs. Xavi Hernandez's side insists Chelsea have made a formative approach and is open to a move to England. However, Ben Jacobs' understanding is Chelsea are not expected to proceed. Xabi Alonso, Marco Silva and Doni Areola are all under serious consideration and Xavi for now is ruled out by Chelsea. I also don't think Xabi Alonso is in any way a contender whatsoever. If he's not going to Liverpool, he's definitely not going to Chelsea. But that was from Ben Jacobs, and that was from Ben Jacobs yesterday. But then Fabrizio Romano came out after that, quite like a number of hours after that, and he says no talks, approaches, or contacts between Chelsea and Xavi Hernandez at this stage. Chelsea keep working on a new coach, process ongoing for final shortlist, but no discussions with the Spanish coach. Xavi remains open to a new chapter, and is tempted by the Premier League. Now, to me, basically, Fabrizio got his update from the Chelsea camp because, as Ben Jacobs said, he said Chelsea are not expected to proceed. So Ben Jacobs seems to be getting information from both sides. Obviously, Xavi Hernandez's side have insisted that Chelsea made a formative approach. That's where he got that information. And Fabrizio is basically putting out Chelsea's side, who say no talks, approaches or contacts between Chelsea and Xavi Hernandez have happened. The thing is, regardless of whether an approach was made or not, what does seem to be agreed upon throughout the reports is that there is no interest from Chelsea at this point in proceeding with moving forward, speaking any further to Xavi Hernandez. So regardless of which kind of bits of it are true, regardless of what all of the noise around it is, the bit that everybody agrees on is Chelsea don't want to move forward with Xavi Hernandez. So that's the bottom line of it. It's not happening, certainly not right now, unless they run out of other options. If the other options they're talking about here don't want them, they might revisit this matter. However, as it stands right now, they very clearly just don't want to move forward. So I just wanted to touch back on it because we mentioned it yesterday, sort of tidy it up. Lucky is saying, it's great to see everyone. It is. I love seeing you all in the chat. It's great. Shem is saying, Chelsea want to Spursy. That's why they gave him the VIP treatment at the Forest home game. Interesting. If he keeps you up, surely you wouldn't let him go for love nor money. Moonshine, correct and right. Moonshine is saying, please hit the like button, everyone. Please do. Please do. After B Gaming is saying, Arsenal is either going to win or get destroyed in the final. So after B Gaming is sort of saying it's not going to be the middle ground. It's either going to be Arsenal win or they just absolutely lose. It's not going to be in the middle. Let me see. JT is saying, I swear Madueke has the Garnacho gene. He walks around the Champions League pitch like this is where I deserve to be. JT also says, I'm a big Martinelli hater, but at least he runs his legs out. But Madueke thinks he is him. Please, Berta, back me on that and move him on. So when it came out as Maduacho the other day, maybe that was a Freudian slip. And yes, Rob also reminding everyone to please subscribe if you're new. Please do subscribe if you're new. We're always on the lookout for more teacups to add to our collection, and we would love to have you here. But guys, there's more news. There's more news. Another one. We have spoken quite a number of times about transfers and players leaving Liverpool. We've spoken about it quite a number of times, and every time we speak about it, so from Salah, then there's been Robertson, and now there's the rumours about Curtis Jones. Obviously, there was the rumours about Alisson then potentially wanting to go to Juventus, but he would respect what Liverpool wanted from him. And now the latest one is Federico Chiesa. So according to, and let me get this right, according to calciomercato.com, which is an Italian news site, a football news site. They have 218,000 followers. So they say they're Italy's #1 football news site, okay? And according to them, Federico Chiesa has decided to leave Liverpool this summer. The Italian winger is reportedly willing to take a pay cut to make a move possible. Now, I've read some of the comments on this, and a lot of the comments from people who purport to be Liverpool fans, because obviously online you don't know, but they seem to be Liverpool fans. Most people are saying they're happy enough with this. So best for everyone if he leaves, not given a fair chance because the manager loves his landlord Gakpo. Another one says he should have gone last season. It's not his fault. For some reason, Arne Slot doesn't rate him. Another one says, all the best, Federico. Under a better manager, we would have seen more of you. No doubt, you still have a home in the hearts of Liverpool fans. Another one says, good on him. He isn't respected by Arne Slot. He needs to take charge of his career. It's unfortunate we have a manager that doesn't respect his own players, but what are you going to do? So this is the second one, because when we spoke about Curtis Jones potentially leaving Liverpool, the reason he supposedly wants to leave Liverpool is he's not getting enough playing time. He's not getting enough minutes, and he would prefer to stay at Liverpool, but the reason he thinks he won't is because he's not getting enough minutes under the manager. If the manager is staying, therefore he feels like he can't stay. It now appears, according to this report, that Federico Chiesa feels exactly the same. So how many players are Liverpool prepared to lose? And I don't think the players should rule the roost. I don't believe the inmates should run the asylum. I don't believe players should have all the power. However, there does come a point when you're losing all of your players, you probably have to look at it. At what point do the Liverpool hierarchy say, we can't afford to lose these players? We don't want to lose Curtis Jones and Chiesa and have Salah retire early and have talks about Alisson maybe wanting to go and this and this and this. At what point do they say, do you know what? It's not just one player versus the manager. Maybe this isn't working. Maybe it's not a good fit. And I just wonder, because again, this just doesn't necessarily feel like it's going to be the last one. I keep saying it to you. I said it the very first time. As soon as Salah announced his retirement, I said, how many more players are they going to lose? And it feels like every single week, there's a new story about another Liverpool player that's going to leave. And I'm just like, he's willing to take a pay cut to make a move possible. He's like, whatever it takes, however little money you want to offer me, just get me the hell out of here. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for your club. It's not a good look. Who's going to come in? So when you see a mass exodus of players leaving, if you're a player that Liverpool are interested in buying, so they've been linked to Adam Wharton recently. If you're Adam Wharton, for example, And you're looking at this, Chiesa's leaving, Curtis Jones leaving. Obviously, I think Salah needs to retire, so I don't think that's necessarily a thing. If Alisson does, if he gets the all clear to go to Italy, I mean, if it's player after player after player after player, as a player that's looking for a transfer, would you want to move into that? And I've often spoken about this at Man United. When you see the mess from the outside, it's the same at Chelsea. When you see the mess from the outside, who wants to transfer into that? When all you see is people running the other direction, you're not going to want to run into the building, are you? So I think it's not just the players they're losing, but it's the players that it might put off joining. That's going to be a problem as well, I think. Let me see what you guys are saying, because I've had a little bit of a the first comment I see is Mohammed. I dislike Slot so much. I think that does seem to be the sentiment of a lot of Liverpool fans. Let me see. I don't want to miss anything. Bruno, and obviously because I'm jumping topics, guys, these won't all be on the same topic, but I'll try and go back through them anyway. So Bruno here is saying, going by the title, someone please tell Xavi not to go to Chelsea. Their academy isn't La Masia. He won't get to keep the talents that he will work on. To be fair, Bruno, it doesn't seem like Chelsea want him. It seems like Chelsea are the ones saying no. Afterbe Gaming is saying, I'm glad I found this channel, such a good community. Shout out Afterbe Gaming. We're glad that you found us too. And has turned on the notifications. Important, very important to turn on that notification bell, especially when YouTube be doing YouTube things. So shout out Afterbe Gaming. Thank you for that. Bruno also says, if Blue Coat Clear Lake were managing Barcelona, they would have sold Yamal for 70 millions before he got really good. Cashing in on the hype. Xavi would destroy his managerial legacy if he goes to Chelsea. Yeah, he would. He would. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise for him that they don't want him. JT says, I get why Chelsea would prefer Areola over Xavi, but there should be consideration. The answer to the problems with their players might be a legend like Xavi they can respect and get inspired. Then this is from Mohammed, and obviously this is on Chiesa. So Mohammed is saying, it's such a shame it never worked out. Moonshine is saying, Chiesa in 2026 is not it, in my opinion. What else have we got? And then as Mohammed, I dislike Slots so much. JT, Chiesa had good cameos at the start of the season and deserved a start, but 2026 he's fallen off big time, but it's understandable as to why. Mohammed is also saying the issue, a lot of Liverpool contracts are expiring in 2027. It's either sign a new deal or let them go on a free or sell them. So yeah, they're kind of being forced. They're being forced into decisions now because of the way that the contracts are working out. Shout out to Paul. Paul's got in a super sticker, guys, and it is the little pair doing a fist bump. Can I read? What's it say? Oh, it literally says fist bump. So it's the pair. It's doing a fist bump for us. So shout out to Paul. Thank you very much. You're very kind. I love the pair. The pair makes me giggle so much. I do enjoy the pair. So thank you very much for that, Paul. Much appreciated. Let me see. JT says, I think both Liverpool and United would need at least 2 windows, which is kind of crazy for Liverpool to be in that position. They will have to do a lot of replacing. Yes, based on what Mohammed is saying there, because of all of the contracts, they are going to have to do a lot of replacing, improving and replacing. Moonshine here is saying Chiesa isn't good enough. Jones is the one I'm upset about. Yes. W's for Paul. Correct and right. I love it. I love it. A little fist bump there. And Moonshine has added to his previous comment and said, the problem with Chiesa is he can't stay fit. It's pointless having a squad player if he's unreliable. I agree with that. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know about Chiesa's availability. I watch what you do on the pitch, off the pitch, unless there's like a write-up done on it. I normally don't really notice it. And that's all teams, that's not my own. But I've consistently said about Man United players, I don't care how good you are. You could be the best player in the world. If you're not fit to get on the pitch, that's no good to me. I don't care how good you are if you can't actually get on the pitch and play. So if he does have problems with fitness, he can't stay fit, then I agree with you. If he's unreliable, what's the point in keeping him? I do agree with that. He can't play 3 games in a row, says Moonshine. See, that's it. I think that's a good thing to let him go then. Now, I still think it's a bad look because of the amount of players you're losing, because it's so many. I still think it's a bad look. However, that doesn't mean that within some of those, it's not the right thing to do. So, for example, I think it's the right thing for Salah to retire. I think that's correct. If Chiesa is just unfit and unavailable, it's the right thing to move him on. Don't keep a player who's not actually going to add to your team. But I do think, because there's so many, because there's so much discourse around Slot, because obviously it's not a very good campaign in terms of retaining the title, it all combines to make it a bad look. So even if some of the individual decisions in there are good, which this one might be, because it ties into everything else, it ends up starting a bad look. After B Gaiman is saying, I think if Chiesa started every game, it would make a difference. So in terms of he would be more fit, he's unfit because he's not getting a run, or you think he would be in better form? Bruno is saying, I believe FSG is justified with their decision to continue with Slot, but it isn't entirely based on football. It's a bit of optics too. If FSG let Slot go, it's an admission of guilt that FSG effed up. I understand what you're saying in terms of optics, but I also don't think that you can keep a player just for the sake of it, or a manager just for the sake of it. If they're not doing good enough, you have to make the change. And the thing is, they seem to be happy to do it with players when things aren't working out. So, for example, if Chiesa is not working out and they're happy to move him on, that's a good thing. But they don't seem to necessarily be quite so happy to do it with the manager. I agree with you. I do think they're very concerned about optics, but you can't operate based on what other people might think. It's not going to work for them in the long run. Moonshine is saying Chiesa just hasn't been the same since his ACL injury, which is obviously bad news for Spurs fans if Shem is still around, because they have a lot of ACLs going on. And so if players come back not the same, even if any of their many ACL injuries come back not the same, they're in big trouble next season. I did see Xavi Simons was posting earlier a picture of himself with his crutches, saying he's going to come back stronger than ever. But yeah, like if Chiesa hasn't been the same since his ACL, that would concern me if I was a Spurs fan, because they've had so many of them. Irish Pit Terrier is in the house. Shout out to Irish Pit Terrier. But guys, there's more. I have so much stuff to talk about with you guys this morning. Paul is saying Bentancur has looked good since, to be fair, but then again, I'm not sure if that was ACL. I can't remember. We went through the list and I can't remember. Shem, who's injured? Don't mention Spurs and ACLs in the same sentence, please. There's nobody new injured, Shem, which is the good news for you. But guys, I want to just finish up. There's one or two little things, but they're kind of tidying up things. So, you will remember the other day I was talking about Rashford all of a sudden was very active on all of the United players' social medias. It was all just... And I said, with all of this stuff going on with Barcelona, maybe they don't want to keep him. Maybe there's problems with him staying there. They want to reloan him. We don't want to do it. They want a fee. And there's a whole hullabaloo. And I said, and all of a sudden, with all of this, maybe Barcelona aren't going to keep him. And now all of a sudden, he's posting all over the social media of these players. And it's all very nicey. And it's just, I'm connecting the dots. Well, I wasn't the only one connecting the dots. So there was a large number of United fans that were out there saying the same thing. So, and these were after I said it, by the way. So I didn't take their ideas and put it out as my own. I'll always say if I've seen it. But there is Frank Era, who is a pretty big United account. Let me see. 310,000 followers. So pretty big account. Rashford, and I thought this was probably, I don't know if I worded it very well when I said it. I thought this was a good way to word it. Rashford has been soft launching his return all week. I can really see him being a part of the squad next season. Now, again, I don't want him back, but I do think he's been soft launched in his comeback. I do think when you see him starting active on social media, it's very aimed. But again, I'm not the only one saying it. So this is another account. He's actually soft launching it. United are posting about him. And then he's in the comments with Bruno, with Kobbie Mainoo. That's not what I'm looking for. There's the Bruno one as well. And the only reason I'm even mentioning it is because I mentioned it on the stream the other day. And I just wanted to put it out there. I'm not the only one thinking it. I'm not the only one thinking it. I don't mean it's like hard evidence he's definitely coming back. I still hope Barcelona just cop themselves on and actually buy him. But there's loads. If you just type it into the search on X, you'll find loads of accounts talking about it, how he's soft launching his way back in. So it is something that people have noticed. It is something that people are talking about. It is something that people are aware of. It's just a little something under the surface that seems to be happening. And JT there is saying Carrick feels like a guy that would have a soft spot for academy players and might think I can save him. Carrick supposedly said before he took the Manchester United job that he would not be opposed to Rashford coming back. So it wouldn't be crazy. It wouldn't be crazy. I don't think he would be against it. Shout out to Normal Guy who has just subbed. Thank you for being here. It's nice to have you with us, Normal Guy. After be gaming. So there's a reason he comments on his former teammates. Yeah, only the one he likes, but yes. JT says Rashford would be happy to return to Champions League football. Rob is saying it's been a brilliant show. Thank you very much, Rob. Yeah, so I don't want him to come back. I want him to stay at Barcelona, but Barcelona are doing Barcelona things. Apparently, there are other people that are interested in him. It's been reported by Chris Wheeler and Nathan Salt that Bayern Munich and Arsenal are looking at Marcus Rashford's situation. I don't think we would sell him to Arsenal. I don't think he would go to Arsenal. I don't think that's in any way realistic. No way, no how. Bayern Munich, I don't know. I don't know about Bayern Munich because they were looking at Anthony Gordon. So it probably wouldn't be crazy that they're looking at Marcus Rashford. They're obviously looking around for kind of like fast attacking players. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I wasn't the only person that noticed that thread with Marcus Rashford that all of a sudden he was doing all this posting. So yeah, it's out there. It's something we'll keep an eye on. I'm hoping it's not something that's going to happen. The last thing, this is the last topic, guys. This is the very last thing. Paul G is saying his wages are insane. His wages are absolutely insane. They are obscene. They're over 300,000 a week. They're obscene. JT, if you would miss a left winger, I would take him back despite the issues in the past. Even I would take Rashford looking at the market. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want him. I don't want him. I don't think he wants to come back. And I think this is an important thing. It's not even necessarily about do we rate Rashford. Rashford said that he needed a new chapter. Rashford said that it was time for him to go. He didn't want to stay. We didn't want him to stay and he didn't want to stay. It ended. It's done. So I just don't want to go backwards, if I'm honest with you. Shout out to Harold, who has just joined us. Flossie says, we being Newcastle, are supposed to be interested in him as well, but he would have to take a massive wage cut if it's true. And see, that's the thing. I'm not sure. He's on massive. He's over 300 grand a week. That's crazy. Bruno was chatting to the Barcelona fans and says that the Barcelona fans are saying they'll send Rashford back and go for Anthony Gordon. When he asked why, because they can't pay 30 million for Rashford, but Gordon costs 70 minimum. Yeah, see, that's it. The maths ain't mathin'. The maths ain't mathin'. Yeah, I agree with Gaz. I just think we need to move on. I think it's done. The situation's done. I don't want to rehash it. It's done. It's just go forward, I think, is my way of thinking. Speaking of going forward, that is the last story that we are going to be speaking about today. Today in this show is from Casemiro. Now, this is from Thomas Alensa, who is a sports journalist with Colonado. Okay, so what he has said here. Casemiro now disse que now has chance to renovar com Manchester United. So Casemiro says that there's no chance of renewing with Manchester United. And this part is a quote. Acho que não. Está claro que não vou tomar a minha decisão no fim da temporada. Now has chance. So I won't take my decision until the end of the season of what's next, but there's no chance of staying. Eu quero sair pela porta da frente. Foram 4 anos lindos, maravilhosos. Eu sou eternamente agradecido, não só ao clube, mas aos torcedores. So I want to leave through the front door. It has been 4 beautiful years, marvelous. I am eternally grateful, not just to the club, but to the fans. Torcedores is fans. Se tem uma coisa que vou levar com carinho desses 4 anos, é o carinho dos torcedores comigo. So if there's one thing I'm going to take forward with love from these 4 years, it's the carinho is like care. It's like the care that I've been shown. It's like the how to explain carinho? It's like the it's hard to translate directly. It's like affection. It's like the affection that I've been shown from the fans. That's what I'm going to take forward with me. Terminou o ciclo do Manchester United, eu vou para um novo ciclo da minha carreira. Ainda tenho que decidir para onde irei, mas quero sair bem, por cima. So my cycle at Manchester United has ended. I will go for a new cycle of my career. I still have to decide where I will go, but I want to leave well. I want to leave at the top. Seré eterno torcedor do Manchester United aqui na Inglaterra. Só tenho a graça de todo o carinho. So I will eternally be a fan of Manchester United here in England. I just want to thank and appreciate all of the affection that I've received. So the reason that I've taken this is because sometimes when things get translated, you lose a little bit of the meaning, or words get added, or things get changed, or it's not quite accurate. And obviously, as you guys know, I lived in Brazil. I speak Portuguese. So the reason I've specifically taken this report is I wanted the Portuguese version. I wanted the words he said, so that I know I'm translating it correctly and I'm not reading something that's translated by Google Translate. So I can actually get the sentiment of what he's saying across. After be gaming, gotta go. Wonderful stream. I don't do watch-alongs at the moment. I'm considering, I was going to put it to you guys, but this is a good question. I'm thinking of maybe trying to do a watch-along for the Champions League final, regardless of who's in it, just as a tester for next season to see how we would go. We'll see. I'm considering it. I'm thinking about it. You'll have to let me know what you guys think. I would probably be I'd be a little bit behind because of the way I would have to set it up in this room, because obviously my TV isn't in my office. But I don't normally have to be gaming. I'm planning for doing it next season. I might do a test run with the Champions League final. But thank you very much for being here, and I'm so glad that you subscribed. Let me see. JD flexing the Portuguese. I enjoy it. I have to practice it, so I do. I don't use it enough. Yes, Damien says, thanks for the memories, Cass. Absolutely 100%. Yeah, a teacupinho. He's a teacupinho. Do you know what it is? I sent a voice note before to Don Hassam, and I was speaking Portuguese, and he told everyone it was Chat GPT. And a lot of people believed him. I promise I'm not Chat GPT. I'm real, I promise. I'm a real girl. Thanks, guys. I just wanted it to be accurate. Because, as I said, sometimes when things get translated, it doesn't quite keep the meaning, the sentiment. Even if you translate the word directly, it doesn't keep the meaning. So I wanted to just translate it myself, because then I knew it would be accurate, basically. I don't trust other people. Harold is saying, I'll miss him, but I think it's the right thing for both. I agree. I do agree. I absolutely agree. Yes, it was Portuguese, Mohammed. I lived in Brazil. I forget some of you guys are new. So I lived actually in a town called João Pessoa, which is in the northeast of Brazil. And that's actually the town that Mateus Cunha is from. So I lived literally, I mean, I could see from my room window when I lived there, I could see one of the football stadiums from my room. So yeah, I lived there for a little while. So it's Portuguese, Mohammed. Cleo girl. Cleo girl was driving and got confused because I'm so sorry, Cleo. I'm glad you didn't crash. I'm so sorry. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I was striving for accuracy. Yes, JT, you have to use these things. I used to speak French. I used to be actually quite good at speaking French, and then I just never used it. So now I forget. Yes, my hidden past. I'm the voice actor for the Portuguese GPS. Imagine. But guys, yeah, there you go. Do you know when people go, "What's your party trick?" Well, I can switch between English and Portuguese like that. But yeah, I was the subtitles. So I was the subtitles. I read it in Portuguese and then in English. I was my own subtitles. I mean, talk about multi-talented, guys. Does YouTube do live translation to Portuguese? Well, at least you guys know I'm not faking. Bruno says, "It's high time that Casemiro leaves the club. He's had his best season of his career in terms of goals. If he leaves now, people will remember him as a legend. His legacy is solidified." I completely agree, Bruno. And I think that's kind of what Harold was getting at as well. And it's what he was getting at as well. He says, "Mas quero sair bem por cima." So I want to leave at the top. So he recognizes it. He recognizes he's at the top. He recognizes what Bruno and Harold and I are saying, and that go out at the top. Don't wait until you drop off. Go now before it's too late. The Mr. Arsenal podcast is in the house and is feeling happy. We are going to be ending, guys, because we've actually run over an hour and I have an appointment at 2:00. So I'm going to have to go. But I'm glad you got here for your celebratory comment. Gaz is saying, "This is the funniest channel. Thanks for the laughs." Well, you never know what's going to happen in Teacup Castle. Shout out to all of you guys for being here, for making the show so enjoyable. Special shout outs today. Rob Always United, Cleo Girl, and Paul G with the pear sticker. Thank you all so much, guys. Please do remember to hit the like button on your way out. I'll be back at 7 this evening before the Champions League, and then we'll do a live match reaction. It was quite enjoyable last night, so we will do it again today. Enjoy your day, and hopefully I will see you all later.